Welcome back to our evening section. So this evening will be Q&A sections. So before we go on to Q&A sections, I would like to quickly remind you again that two important point is please mute your sound, and then please turn on the video. And this evening, Venerable Bhante Nyanaramsi will answer questions from WhatsApp and any questions that sent by email first. And if we have enough time, or if time allowed, then you can ask questions by use the button, the right hand button on the Zoom program. And then when we acknowledge that you have a questions, then please unmute yourself. And when you finish your questions, you can indicate by saying sadhu or thank you, and then mute your microphone. So now I will go and invite Bhante Nyanaramsi for our Q&A sections. When he arrives, we will pay respect to him 3 times, and then say Namo Tassa together 3 times. Buddham Dushen, Dhammam Dushen, Sangham Dushen. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Yes, we would like to invite Bhante to give the Dhamma talk.
A very good evening to all Metta yogis. I shall begin with question and answers. The first question, Mingalapa Ashimpia, what kinds of techniques I should apply for sending metta to tyrants and corrupted politicians whom try all possible ways to this credit country when it's obviously they never cease their intentions to brainwash Generation G. So um, it seems um, these objects, the corrupted politicians, um, can be taken as an object of loving kindness and in accordance with your perceptions. Um, you, you will, according to your perceptions, if you regard them as a home objects whom you dislike, whom you hate, then you may practice loving kindness um, to them, or as the fourth uh, objects of fourth categories. So um, when we practice loving kindness, we may use suitable wish or a- appropriate mental wish in accordance with your intentions or your wish. Um, take for examples, if a yogi thinks that um, healthy, free from illness is a blessing in life, then meditators can use that as a mental wish. May I be healthy always. May be free from um, suffering. Then meditators may wish other objects with the same mental wishes. But sometimes meditators may change the mental wish in accordance with their aspirations and they what they wish to see or to realize. Um, so sometimes we may change a mental wish. For example, in this case, we wish that may all politicians live a virtuous life. May all politicians possess the virtues of moral shame and moral fear. Um, so the important intention of practicing loving kindness is to overcome one's own feelings of hatred, aversion, or um, but it's not enough to practice loving kindness. Um, you may consider to translate the thoughts of metta or loving kindness. Uh, for example, taking the generation G as an object of loving kindness. Uh, you also wish that may all um, may all people belong to this generation of G um, um, be healthy. May they live a virtuous life and so on. Um, so you may take them as an object of kindness. Then you you give um, very much concerns of the welfare and happiness of the people and countries. Then you may translate your thoughts of loving kindness into actions. Um, um, as, um, uh, as we all know, um, from the teachings of the Buddha, the Buddha mentioned about these two dark qualities or dark dharma. What are these two dark qualities or dark dharma? The two dark qualities are moral shamelessness and moral fearlessness. Um, so the opposites of dark qualities are bright qualities, bright dharma. Um, Bright qualities of bright dharma are moral shame and moral fear. In Pali, moral shame is hiri, moral fear or moral dread is otapa. So in the teaching of Buddha, the Buddha say these two bright dharma protect the world. Um, if the people in the world lacking of these two bright qualities or two bright dharmas, then the morality of the people will be declining. So um, eh, you as a metta meditators, um, so you, you you may translate your thoughts, loving kindness, in uh, to interactions, in us making an effort to instill the sense of moral shame and moral fear, or hiri and otapa, in the mind of the generation G, or give them encouragements to develop to these two qualities, so that these two qualities become their characters. Um, so it's because of moral shamelessness. When one doesn't have moral shame, then one does not have self-respect. When one doesn't have self-respect, then one will not reject any kinds of wrongdoing. When there's no sense of moral fear or moral dread or tapa, then one is not fear of the consequences of wrongdoings or evils. So um, you may practice loving kindness um, to those politicians who are corrupted. You should practice. You can also practice loving kindness to the people belong to the generation G. But it's more, it's better that you could translate your thoughts loving kindness, especially helping the generation G um, to, to possess the virtues of moral, moral shame and moral fear. Um, um, so um, this is um, one of the best way to translate your thoughts loving kindness. It's better to place your hopes on the generation, place your hopes on the generation Z, in order to change the countries, to become a better and better countries. So this is the answer to the first question. The second question, Bhante, I'm more receptive and more loving to my mother than to my father. Can my mother and father be a separate meditation object? I would like to dedicate 30 minutes of morning and night meditation practice to them if I can. Um, can you suggest how I do so for both my parents, since I feel differently towards each of them? Um, so mother and father can be taken as two uh, separate objects. It, um, if the feelings of loving kindness towards mother and father is different, um, then meditators should make an effort so that the feelings of loving kindness um, towards mother and father will be the same. There could be some reasons why loving kindness meditators have stronger feeling of loving kindness. For example, in this question, towards mother than towards father. Um, so sometimes meditators may have to um, um, overcome um, certain feeling of dislike or um, unpleasant memories and so on. Um, so the most important another important point to consider here is learning to uh, cultivate the feeling of gratitude. So um, when the loving kindness meditators take um, mother and father as the object of loving kindness, at the beginning of practice of loving kindness towards mother or father, um, for example, you have a practice loving kindness for yourself for durations of 5 minutes. Then you may begin with your mother. So you may recollect, recollect the virtues of mother. You know the qualities of good qualities mother, or you can recollect from your memories. Often, for example, on often occasions, you feel great. You feel strongly the love of your mothers. Um, so the purpose of reconnections is to help one to cultivate gratitude. So this feeling of gratitude is important to the practice of loving kindness. So you may spend about 5 minutes to recollect or to do these recollections. Then you only begin to practice loving kindness towards, towards your mother. Similarly, when you practice loving kindness towards your father, you also do some recollections. So in the practice of loving kindness meditation, we learn to see the good qualities of the object of loving kindness, especially the object of loving kindness is a person and individuals. We, we learn to see the good points of the person or the good side of that individuals. Um, if meditators recollects the bad qualities of an object in kindness for that person, then it's difficult to arouse the thoughts of loving kindness. Um, so meditators um, um, have to make an effort um, to recollect um, the, the sacrifice of the father or any occasions that can help you to feel the love of your father or to arouse the feeling of a um, gratitude or the feeling of gratefulness, thankfulness. Um, so after the connections, meditators begin to practice loving kindness for their fathers. Um, if meditators have been practiced loving kindness towards mother and father as two separate objects for a period of times, if they do make progress, then the meditators may experience that the feeling of loving kindness towards mother and father is equal. Or there's no difference in the feelings of loving kindness. But if there's a difference in the feeling of loving kindness, sometimes meditators may use the way of carrying forward your feelings of loving kindness to the next object, next object of loving kindness. Um, for example, um, um, may my mother be well, happy, peaceful. May my mother be healthy always. May my mother be well, happy, peaceful. May my mother be healthy always. Um, so, for example, meditators practice loving kindness towards mother for about 15 minutes. Then meditators will do some recollections um, of the virtues of the father, making effort um, to arouse the feeling of gratitude or being grateful to the sacrifice of father. Then meditators begin to practice loving kindness towards the father by carrying forward the filial mother into fathers. Or um, just as I want my mother to be well, happy, peaceful, um, my may my mother be healthy always. I also sincerely wish that my father be well, happy, peaceful. May my father be healthy always. So just as I want my mother to be well, happy, peaceful, be healthy always, I also sincerely wish that my father be well, happy, peaceful. May my father be healthy always. So this is known as a way of carrying forward the feeling of loving kindness from one object to next object. Um, by using this way, meditators may be able to develop equal feelings of loving kindness eventually. But this way of practicing loving kindness, by carrying forward the feeling of loving kindness towards mother, carrying forward that feelings to to father, that way of practice is not so conducive uh, to concentration. So meditators may practice in that way for a few minutes. Um, just as I want my mother to be well, happy, peaceful, may my mother be healthy always. I also sincerely wish that my father be well, happy, peaceful. May my father be healthy always. So meditators may practice loving kindness in this way for a few minutes or for a few times. Then meditators um, should direct the thoughts of loving kindness to the towards the father without using the way of carrying forward the feeling of loving kindness from mother to father. Um, may my father be well, happy, peaceful. May my father be healthy always. May my father be well, happy, peaceful. May my father be healthy always, and so on. Um, so, so similarly, um, I, when meditators practice loving kindness, sometimes they can use a way of comparisons. Um, for example, when you have practiced loving kindness for yourself for a duration of five minutes, um, may I be well, happy, peaceful, may I be healthy always. 5 minutes later, you may begin to you may begin to practice loving kindness to various objects of loving kindness. So you may also do the way of carrying forward, or sometimes this way is known as a comparison between yourself and the object of loving kindness. Um, as I just as I wish to be well, happy, peaceful, uh, be healthy always. I also wish also I, I, I am also sincerely wish sincerely that my mother be well, happy, peaceful. May my mother be healthy always. Um, just as I want to be well, happy, peaceful, be healthy always. I also sincerely wish that may my mother be well, happy, peaceful. May my mother be healthy always. So this way of practicing is is for is also for the purpose of developing the same feeling of loving kindness between the loving kindness meditators and the way objects of loving kindness. Um, um, but meditators should not practice loving kindness in this way for a long duration. It's because it can cause um, distraction to concentration. Um, just as I want to be well, happy, peaceful, be healthy always, I also wish my mother or any object of loving kindness, or I sincerely wish my mother be well, happy, peaceful. May my mother be healthy always. So meditators may practice loving kindness in this way for a few times about for about few minutes. Then they should drop the way of comparisons and wish the object directly. May my mother be well, happy, peaceful. May my mother be healthy always, and so on. When meditators change to change the objects of loving kindness, for example, to the next object, father, or respected teachers, meditators may also do the same way. As I wish to be well, happy, peaceful, be healthy always, I also sincerely wish my respected teacher so and so be well, happy, peaceful. May my respected teacher so and so be healthy always. So meditators may practice loving kindness in this way for a few minutes or few times. Then they should drop the way of comparisons and wish the object, the respected teachers directly. May my respected teachers so and so be well, happy, peaceful. May my respected teachers so and so be healthy always, constantly, continuously, for another 10 minutes, and so on. But when meditators have made progress in the practice of loving kindness, they may not have to practice the way of carrying forward the feeling of loving kindness from one object to next object, or the way of comparison between oneself and uh, other object loving kindness. Um, so this is one of the practical points meditators may consider to apply it during the practice loving kindness. But when meditators have gained some experiences in the practice, they may not have to use this way anymore. Um, um, then the third question, I find out that I can sit longer if I practice deep breathing while doing meditation. May I know this is correct for metta meditation? Um, uh, uh, Deep breathing, and if the meditators focus their attention on the breath, for example, the in breath and out breath, then this is not metta meditation. Um, um, Focusing the attention on the in breath and out breath is concentration meditation. Inverse breath is one of the objects of concentration, and metta is another object of concentration. So when meditators practice concentration meditation, they have to choose one object. They can't uh, practice concentration meditation with two different objects of concentration at the same time. Um, so during the practice of metta meditation, meditators should not pay attention to the breath or other phenomena such as pain, um, or wandering mind, and so on. Mm. So meditators should not pay any attention to the breath. The breath should remain normal, natural, but should focus the attention on the development of loving kindness by wishing the object of loving kindness repeatedly. Then the fourth question, Bhante, how do I forgive myself on some parenting mistakes with metta, as it is a mental work If the mental note too detailed, it will involve uh, elaborations and proliferations that distract training. How brief should it be? How do I know I have really forgive? I shall just give 10 minutes to this or until I feel regret feeling gone. When should I do this? Before or after the metta? To group 1, respected teachers, should I do this forgiveness with metta to my son? Two different objects together. Um, um, so asking forgiveness is um, is is one of the stages which is known as a preparatory stage of meditations. So, um, in general, we um, if we follow the teachings of Buddha and the commentaries, if one um, our ignorance or um, intentionally or unintentionally have offended um, a noble one or teachers and so on. If they did not ask forgiveness, it will become obstacles to the progress of meditation. Similarly, when we practice metta, we also need to ask forgiveness. Or if one had um, offended or have committed some wrongdoings to the object in kindness, then meditators may ask forgiveness from the object in kindness. Um, so meditators also need to um, learn to let go of the uh, guilty feeling. For example, um, some may feel, some may have the feeling of guilty. Um, they have to learn to let go of that guilty feelings, um, thinking that um, this was happened in the past. One can't undo the past. Um, so, for example, in this case, parents um, may ask forgiveness from their son. Um, then, then meditators should not think about the past anymore. Should meditators should concentrate at this present moment. In other words, concentrating the effort and the attention on the development of thoughts of loving kindness towards their son. So meditators did not have to ask forgiveness at every session, of sitting. Um, meditators only ask forgiveness um, at the beginning of the retreats or um, at the beginnings of um, learning to practice meditations. Um, so meditators may not have to ask forgiveness repeatedly. Um, so meditators, after asking forgiveness, they should practice detachments towards the, the past. Um, it's because one can't undo the past. If one always think of the past, especially uh, unpleasant memories or un, some unwholesome deeds, uh, meditators, it may cause um, meditators will not be able to undo the past, but because of recalling or recollecting the unpleasant memories, it can only increase the unwholesome state of mind or emotional state of mind. So in the teachings, the, the, the one the teachings say that um, meditators um, should not recollecting the unpleasant memories or if any past unwholesome deeds. Um, meditators should concentrate the effort on the present moment. Uh, so so meditators um, should realize that um, we can't undo the past. Uh, so one should not cling to the past, should focus the effort and attention on the present moment. Then the fifth questions, Bhante, when we do metta to a sick friends of the opposite sex, it is best practice to limit the time for the metta. Um, in accordance with the teaching, um, when one takes a person who is sick, in the words, sickness is suffering. Actually, that object is an object of compassion. Um, but in general, one who has loving kindness also has feeling of compassion. So meditators may also practice loving kindness and compassion in this case uh, to a sick friend. Um, um, so when in accordance with the teaching and the commentaries, if a loving kindness meditators who is not yet successful in the practice of loving kindness, if that loving kindness meditators takes a person who is not who is the opposite sex, sometimes can uh, cause the near enemy of metta to arise. The near enemy of metta is love with affections or attachment and so on. So it depends on the experience of the meditators. Um, if the mind or the hearts of meditators is very pure, the purpose of practicing loving kindness to a sick to a sick friends of the opposite sex is wanting to see him uh, to regain back his good health, to have a speedy recovery. Then loving kindness meditators may practice to him as long as possible. But if the meditators does not have confidence in the sense that he's worried that his wholesome state of metta could be defiled by pema, or the feeling of love with attachment, then meditators may set a time limit, for example, for duration of 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Then meditators may change to the objects of loving kindness. When we practice loving kindness as an object of concentration, um, we might have to follow the way taught in the scriptures and commentaries. But we also can practice metta for the purpose of uh, accumulating merits, or practicing metta is also a meritorious mental action. So meditators may also practice metta in order to gain merits. So meditators may practice to a person or an individuals who is not same sex with him or her for a duration, for a period of time, for example, 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Some meditators practice loving kindness also for the purpose of perfecting the metta paramis. Metta is one of the 10 paramis. So when meditators practice loving kindness for the purpose of perfecting the metta paramis, sometimes they may also choose a person who is not same sex with him or her as an object of loving kindness. And if they do not have confidence in the practice, then they may practice loving kindness to that object for a short duration of time. So meditators have to know from their experience that if meditators want to practice loving kindness to a person who is not same sex with him or her, if they are if they have the confidence that the intention of practicing is pure, wholesome, then meditators may practice towards that object as long as possible. Then the next questions number 6. I have an acquaintance with depression, and then thinks of killing herself and not loving herself. Still, if suggesting that you have mercy on yourself, love yourself, spread mercy to yourself, is 5 minutes of metta meditation to oneself at a time is enough, or should it be more? So um, in this case, a, a person who is suffering in depressions, so she may practice loving kindness to herself um, for uh, 10 minutes, or even longer than 5 minutes. But it's more important um, to encourage her um, to practice the correct way of metta meditations. Um, is because by directing the thoughts of loving kindness towards others, then oneself will gain the benefits of, of the practice. In other words, when you practice loving kindness, you yourself will realize the benefits. Um, then um, it's also important, for example, to help her to translate the thoughts of loving kindness into actions, uh, so that he could realize that um, this world um, um, is this world is where you could also experience loving kindness, not only by receiving, but by giving. Um, uh, so it's also important to find out the cause of depressions, and she may have to learn to let go of the past. Um, if one always cling to the past, especially painful memories, then it's difficult to overcome that feeling of depression. So as a loving kindness meditators, you could help her to get, encouraging her to practice loving kindness in a proper way. But it's also important to translate the practice of loving kindness meditation for them into actions. Um, um, of- so um, metta meditation, um, the the way of practice could be um, could be quite flexible in certain circumstances. Um, but regarding in relation to the practice of loving kindness for oneself, sometimes we allow meditators to practice loving kindness towards oneself uh, for a longer period of times, for the 10 minutes, but it's not helpful to the practice. So sometimes we may allow some meditators to practice loving kindness towards themselves for a longer period of time. Is merely an exception to the practice. As they're able to settle down in the practice, then they should come back to the proper way of practice of metta. Then the next question, Bhante, may you be well, happy, peaceful. I have recently encountered various life challenges, but successfully overcame them with metta. For instance, I have recently made a long and hard travel during a full lockdown to meet my spouse. Throughout the journey, I was almost denied for travel, even with complete evidence. However, when this happened, I calmed the worries in my mind and others by reading metta on the spot. Miraculously and perhaps expectedly, everything turned out fine. I was relieved and thankful, but strangely, it felt like I do not deserve happiness. In other words, I feel guilty of being this blessed. It is related to any or both of the enemies of Metta. Uh, um, it might not relate directly to the enemies of Metta. But in this case, if one practice Metta with expectation, with the desire to solve the problems, then that the practice Metta is defined by expectation, by the desire or by desire. So sometimes one may think in this way. Sometimes some meditators practice Metta with some expectation or desires for something. If the expectation or desire did not materialize, then there's a feeling of disappointment or frustrations. Sometimes they may doubt about the practice of loving kindness. So that expectation, desire causes um, the feeling of aversion, dislike um, to arise. There's a feeling of dislike or angry because the the expectation or the desire did not materialize or fulfill. Um, so um, meditators have to learn from the experience and um, putting forth constant and continuous effort. Then their intention of practicing metta will also be purified in the sense that when they practice loving kindness, they only have the pure thoughts, a very wholesome thoughts, that wanting to see the object of loving kindness or all beings be healthy always, be free from suffering, and so on. So meditators, loving kindness meditators practice, learn to practice loving kindness without any expectation for something from the practice or desire for to gain something. Then the next question, Bhante, when a person do metta to oneself, good feelings arises, and attachment to good feelings is natural. Therefore, should one set a time limit to do metta to oneself? Example, not more than 10 minutes in daily practice. Uh, um, so as I have explained earlier, we we usually practice metta for ourselves for about 5 minutes, um, or in certain cases, like I mentioned just now, for about 10 minutes. It's because by practicing loving kindness for oneself, one can never gain any concentration. One can never cultivate the thoughts of loving kindness. Only by wishing the welfare and happiness of others, that good wish will reflect back on us. It's because of this object you are able to cultivate the thoughts of loving kindness by wishing that object be well, happy, peaceful, be healthy always. Um, So sometimes meditators have a short time to practice loving kindness. For example, half an hour of sitting meditation. Then it's better meditators practice loving kindness for themselves. The, the, the maximum is 5 minutes, should not more than that. So, so only by practicing loving kindness towards others, then the mental state of loving kindness will be developed. One shall experience peacefulness, calmness in the mind. And question number 9, the last question. I'm practicing 1 hour vipassana every day. During metta or walking, sometimes the mind goes back to uh, rising, pushing, dropping, or turning. During metta sitting, wishing someone well and happy, sometimes noting rising and falling. It's okay to practice vipassana and metta together daily because it may cause some confusion. So um, we can practice metta and vipassana daily, but both both types of meditation should be practiced one after another. It's more common to begin the practice vipassana preceded by concentration meditation. So in this case, metta is an object of loving kindness. So if meditators have 1 hour of sitting meditation, meditators may choose to practice metta um, about 50 minutes. Then they should switch over to the practice of vipassana. So when meditators practice metta, at the beginning of sitting meditation, they should practice the way of concentration. In other words, during the practice metta, if the mind has gone, for example, to the movements of abdomen, rising, falling, meditators should ignore the movement of abdomen, come back to the practice of metta again. So when meditators are new to the practice of metta and have been practicing vipassana for quite some times, so meditators, or in other words, the mind has the habit of going to the phenomena such as the rising movements and falling movement of abdomens. So it becomes a habitual practice of meditators. If they want to switch over to practice metta, they might have to put forth more mental effort. So when meditators are able to put forth more mental effort, in other words, during the time of practice metta, the mind could focus well on the practice metta. When meditators switch over the practice of vipassana, the mind is very focused on the development mindfulness. So sometimes meditators could change the habit of practice. It can help the practice of vipassana meditation as well. When meditators has acquired the habit of mindful, sometimes if they do not know the way to increase more and more mental effort, they may not able to make more progress. So, but sometimes meditators learn to practice metta. They need to put forth more mental effort. In that way, they also could help um, in, to put more effort into the practice of meditation. So in that way, when they come back to the practice of vipassana meditation, they may able to um, um, put forth more effort into the practice, or in other words, the mindfulness can be more attentive, more energetic than before. So meditators may practice vipassana and metta together daily, but they should not practice both. They should practice one uh, preceding the other. So it's more common that meditators practice metta meditation for duration of 50 minutes, and then they switch over to practice vipassana. So when meditators have only 50 minutes to practice metta, they should not choose many different objects of loving kindness. So meditators may practice metta for themselves, for example, for only 3 minutes. Then they may practice metta to a good object, or a good object metta for another 10 minutes or slightly longer. So during the 15 minutes of metta, meditators have only one object. Of course, the meditators have to practice metta for themselves for a short duration of 3 minutes. Then they should choose a good object metta. In that way, they may gain some concentration and carry forward the concentration into the practice of vipassana. So this is the answer to the last question of these sessions of Q&A.
Yes. So we seem that we have another 20 minutes left. So during this time, if any of you have any questions, you can use the raise hand button, under the reactions. Yes, now, hand take short. Yes, you have any questions, please kindly unmute and ask. Yes, you can speak now.
Bhante, how was it? I have a question. Can you hear me or not?
Yes, I can hear clearly.
I have a question. When walking meditations, half an hour, the objects is 3 to 4 objects, but I keep thinking of metta, like sending to myself and my friends and all beings, 3 objects. Can I pause in between?
If you pause in between the objects, in other words, there is no more mental wish. There's a disruptions to the continuity of the thoughts of loving kindness. Then the thoughts of loving kindness will not become stronger. Sometimes during the pause, the mind may wander away, or thinking may come in. So meditators need not have to pause in between the thoughts of one thought of loving kindness and the next thoughts of loving kindness.
My problem is yesterday's practice half an hour is okay. But today when I practice half an hour, to and fro walking and metta, but I feel my head is very heavy because keep reciting.
Um, 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 when you're reciting the metta wish or the metta phrase, where did you focus your mind, or where did you focus your attention at the time?
Just metta to myself, metta to all beings.
The most important is that you become aware of the mental wish. You do not focus your attention at the place. You should not focus the attention on the meta sentence, or the words. Um, there are things you may not, most likely you are not relaxed enough. Sometimes maybe you are not relaxed enough. You have to learn to practice meditation, for example, metta meditation, with the mind and body relaxed. Do not feel tense. Um, and during walking, um, you may slow down walking, but you should not walk very slow. You can slow down the pace a little bit, but not too much.
How to overcome Bhante if I walk like that? Because I feel that I walk to and fro, then feel a little bit dizzy. But when I come back to sitting, then that is okay. So is it if it happen like that, can I just pause to sit or how?
You may stop walking and continue to practice loving kindness in the standing postures. For example, when you're walking up and down, then you begin to encounter this unpleasant feeling. You may stop your walking and continue to practice loving kindness with standing, with the standing postures.
So mean walking with standing.
Yes.
If we are just doing standing, how long we can encourage to stand?
Then it's depending on the physical strength of the meditators.
Okay, understand.
We can practice loving kindness in all the four postures as taught in the Karaniya Metta Sutta, walking, standing, sitting, and lying down.
Okay, understand. Thank you, Sadhu Bhante.
Yes, so are there any participants that would like to ask questions? So it seems like no one has any questions. Oh, sorry, there's another one coming up. So in there, please turn on your video too and your unmute. So in there, sorry. Yes.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
This is Wang here.
Yes.
Bhante, you're talking about daily practice of metta and vipassana when we are doing sitting.
Yes. Yeah.
But yesterday, Bhante says is better, is recommended, I think, when we do our metta practice to start with walking. So
Yes.
is it applicable for us when we are doing vipassana and metta? I'm used to doing metta first and continuing with vipassana, but walking, is it better also to do both when we are walking before we do our meditation, before our sitting?
If you intend to focus your practice more on the vipassana meditation, then you may not have to practice metta during walking meditation.
Okay, I understand. Because I am not used to walking, doing metta, so the pace, I'm not sure whether it's too fast or too slow. Because if it's too fast, we get giddy, and too slow, like not correct like that.
When we practice metta during walking meditation, the pace should not be too slow and quick. If you walk quickly, you may not able to focus attention well on the mental wish or development of the thoughts of loving kindness. So you may slow down the pace, not too much. It's quite similar to what called walking leisurely in the garden. Um, so walking up and down, you learn not to pay any attention to the walking, the movements of foot. If you are not yet accustomed to practice, the mind seems distracted by the movements. You may ignore the movements as much possible.
But Bhante, our eyes, when we do vipassana, our eyes are in front of us about 1.5 foot. So when we do metta, our eyes also must be like that. And not
Yes,
look.
not too far, not too near. Usually we suggest maybe about 4 or 5 feet, a distance of 4 or 5 feet.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Yes. Are there anyone else? So about 10 minutes left.
So the next talk will be 1 week later. I shall conclude this evening question answer with a short discourse. In the first talk yesterday, I did mention that when meditators begin the practice loving kindness, they have to contemplate or have to rightly understand the dangers of dosa. If one doesn't know the danger of dosa, in other words, hatred, anger, aversion, one may not want to put forth effort to overcome the mental state of dosa, thoughts of ill will. One might think it's all right to be angry. I have the right to be angry with you, and so on. Then another important point is to know or to rightly understand the benefits of patience, kanti in Pali. Kanti is another, is also one of the 10 paramis. The Kanti and Metta are in fact supporting each other in accordance with the teaching on commentaries. One who is endowed with this quality of Kanti, patience, that itself show that that person has loving kindness, has a quality of loving kindness. So one who has this virtue of patience, Kanti, will be able to develop the thoughts of loving kindness well. And then one who is able to practice loving kindness correctly and make progress in the practice, then that loving kindness meditators also develop the quality or the virtue of patience. In other words, that person become a more patient person. So patience is important. As you know, one of the Dhammapada verses say that the best moral practice is patience and forbearance. Nibbana is supreme, say the Buddha. So there are dangers in impatient. That means one who is not patient. Then there are benefits in patience. I shall mention what are benefits in patient, in being patient. So the benefits of being patient or having this quality of Kanti, the first is one is pleasing and agreeable to many people. Isn't it? You have the patience, mostly people will like you, love you. Then the second benefit, one doesn't have an abundance of enmity. One does not have a lot of enmity. When one is impatient, others may dislike you. So one does not have abundance of enmity. So here enmity is not only coming from external. One who does not have the quality of patience, most likely the mind of that person is also full of enmity, or anger could be arising easily. So this is the second benefit. The third benefit, one doesn't have an abundance of faults, or does not have a lot of faults. Faults in the sense, for example, making mistake. When the mind is overpowered by dosa, full of anger, hatred, aversion, most likely that person will not able to think clearly. Then that person may make mistakes in the work, or may commit wrongdoings, misdeeds, evils, and so on. Then the fourth benefits of being patient, one dies unconfused. This is fourth benefits. The fifth benefits is that after passing away, if one has not yet attained higher stage of enlightenment, one will be reborn in a good destination, in a heavenly world. So these are the 5 benefits of metta, in accordance with one of these courses. So patience is important. Patience is needed when we are doing any kinds of wholesome deeds, beginning with dana. Sometimes you want to offer dana or to practice giving and sharing at any places. You need patience. When you practice the second wholesome karma or wholesome dharma, the sila, or patience is even needed, or more needed than the practice of dana. So there are these 3 kinds of wholesome dharma that one should practice them constantly, continuously. Dana, sila, bhavana consists of samatha bhavana, concentration meditation, and vipassana bhavana, insight meditation. In the practice of bhavana, patience, khanti is greatly needed. Without the quality of patience, it's difficult to make progress. That's why we always advise meditators to be patient with themselves. Sometimes during the practice of loving kindness meditation or insight meditation, the mind could be restless. Meditators have to be patient with the mind. Sometimes meditators experience a lot of physical discomfort or unpleasant feelings. They have to be patient with these feelings. So patience or khanti in Pali is greatly needed when we are doing any kinds of wholesome deeds, especially bhavana. So I wish all meditators shall continue their practice so that this khanti parami or the virtues of patience will develop and able to overcome dosa through the practice of metta, and you shall clear these obstacles or obstructions to the development of wisdoms, and shall realize your ultimate goal in following the teachings of Buddha or the Buddha Sasana in this life. There's liberation from the suffering in samsara.
Sadhu to Bhante for answer all the questions and for teaching and guidance for this evening. So now, shall do the honoring and making of aspiration together. Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatiya Puttang Pushemi. With this practice that conforms to the Dhamma, I honor the Buddha. Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatiya Dhammang Pushemi. With this practice that conforms to the Dhamma, I honor the Dhamma. Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatiya Sanghang Pushemi. With this practice that conforms to the Dhamma, I honor the Sangha. Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatiya Mata Pitaro Pushemi. With this practice that conforms to the Dhamma, I honor the parents. Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatiya Acariye Pujene. With this practice that conforms to the Dhamma, I honor my teachers. Aspiration. Atta Imaya Patipatiya Chati Chara Prayati Maranaha Parimuchisami. With the meditation practice, may I be liberated from the universal sufferings of birth, decay, sickness, and death. Idang me bunyang asavakayawahang hotu. May these merits of mine lead me to the extinction of mental taints. Idang me bunyang nippanasa patiyo hotu. May these merits of mine be a condition to attain enlightenment, cessation from the cycle of birth and death. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And now, with deep respect, we shall now invite Bhante to lead us for the sharing and dedication of merits.
Imano punya baga
Imano bunya kakang.
mata pitu nanca
Mata pitunanca.
acarya nanca
Acarya nanca.
sapa sata nanca
Sapasata nanca.
sapa mita nanca
Sapamita nanca.
sapa nyati nanca
Sapayati nanca.
sapa peta nanca
Sapapeta nanca.
sapa dewata nanca
Sapadewata nanca.
bajema
Pajema.
sape sata
Sapesata.
sukita hontu.
Sukita hontu.
Then we shall dedicate our merits to our departed relatives or departed friends. So, idame yatinam hotu,
Ithang me yatinam hotu.
sukita hontu nyatayo,
Sukita hontu yatayo.
idame yatinam hotu,
Ithang me yatinam hontu.
sukita hontu nyatayo,
Sukita hontu yatayo.
idame yatinam hotu.
Ithang me yatinam hontu.
Sukita hontu nyatayo.
Sukita hontu yatayo.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So we'd like to pay respect to the Trinity. Putang Pusheni. Dhammang Pusheni. Sanghang Pusheni. So thank you very much for you all for tonight. So may you have a very peaceful and a lot of metta during these work days and bring your metta to your daily life. And then we see you again next Saturday morning. So may you all be well, happy and peaceful all.